friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Stephanie and I've been an online reseller for over 20 years. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I determine if I should part something out or if I'm going to sell it whole. Now, parting things out has really changed the way I resell. It has really opened up my mind to the possibility of what can and will sell online and what people are willing to pay for. Because sometimes people need a part to fix something that they already have or to complete a set of something that they already have. Now, this strategy works for anything that you could possibly want to part out. Small appliances, toys, whatever you have, if it has something that could be taken apart, this is how you're going to determine its value and its worth. So in this video, I'm going to show you step by step how I determine if something is worth it to part it out or to sell it whole. Let's go ahead and get started. In the example, I'm going to show you using my example of this giant baby, this Dyson DC33. Now, vacuums are something I often see at the thrift store, and very few people are going to want to ship them whole. Number one, they're really bulky. If something breaks, you're kind of SOL. Number two, the main thing is you're going to get more for the item when you part it out versus selling it whole in almost every instance. So let me show you exactly what I do. So we're going to start off with our eBay home screen, and we're going to type in Dyson DC33, and we're going to let that populate. We can see there's 2,300 plus listings that match, and you can change this down to used. About 1,700 listings that match. And then we're going to scroll down here to where it says sold items, and I'm going to open that link into a new window. That's pressing the right click button. And then I open that into a new window. And then we can see what items have sold. 583 items have sold. I'm going to switch this to highest first. So then we're going to open up one more window to show the product research /tier peak. So you're going to go to My eBay, Selling, and you can just right click, open link in new tab. And then you're going to hover over Research and then Product Research. Okay. Now we can go ahead and type in the same thing there if you'd like. Okay, so now we've got our 3 windows open for our eBay product research. We're going to open up a 4th window and we're going to create a Google Sheet. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to determine the value of the vacuum whole. So we're looking at all the listings on our sold listings of how much this vacuum is worth whole. Now keep in mind, some of these say free delivery. And we got to assume that's got to be at least $50 to $100 on delivery on something this giant, right? So you're looking at $255. That one's got free delivery. Okay, now we're getting into paid shipping. We could see that this vacuum is probably worth about $175 to $200. So in our Google spreadsheet, I'm going to type in the name of the vacuum. You can do whatever. And then the vacuum is valued at $200, right? But we want to know how much we're going to get if we part the whole thing out. Okay, we're going to go back to our sold listings. And now we're going to change this from highest to lowest. And this is one of the few times I'm going to do this. And that is because we want to see the parts. And usually if you sort that way from lowest to highest, you're going to see the parts first and not the whole item first. I hope that makes sense. So we're going to scroll down, and to start off, we're going to just look at the names of the parts, and we're going to type them into our sheet, okay? So we got this clear U-bend, okay? We're going to go to our spreadsheet, and we're going to type in clear U-bend, go back over there. We've got the sole plate, we've got a port plate. Let's go ahead and write those in. And then you're just going to continue doing this. So then we've got a dust cup. We've got the main motor. And just keep on scrolling down. Oh, look, we got the cyclone top. I'm just going to show you some examples. You guys know how to type in. Okay, and we're just going to keep going. We're kind of getting down towards the bottom where we're getting to our meatier things. We got this Dyson canister and cyclone assembly. Those are going for 40 to 50. And then we got like the housing assembly. That's going for about 40. Another way to research parts is to look for these multi-quantity listings. And these are ones that are going to have a range. So if you click on this one, They have all sorts of parts. Well, some of them are available and some of them are out of stock. And the ones that are out of stock are also going to be interesting to us. But we've got a valve pipe that they valued at $17. They've got a brush bar assembly they valued at $20. Motor covers for $16. And you can see how many they have and how many they've sold. So they've sold 14 of these motor covers for $16. Okay, well that's something that we should consider. And this valve pipe, same thing. They've sold 14 of these for $17. So that's another thing to look at. And all these other parts they're out of stock of. Do we have those? That's something we need to research. Okay, so we're going to go to the product research tab. And we're going to look to see what other parts are available that didn't show up on items that had sold in the last 90 days. And the reason I do this is because somebody may not have listed those parts in the last 90 days, so it's not going to have shown as sold in the last 90 days. So I want to see what else has sold in the last 3 years. Let's take a look. You can sort by average sold price, highest to lowest. There's a lot of things here. There's almost, there's 1,800 listings on here. And you could sort this by price. So let's say we're only looking for items that have sold for $25 to, let's say, $150. We can click that price filter there. Okay, and then now that's populated, we can see that there's a clutch transmission that's sold for $25. And let's see what else we can find. Okay, here's like the wand handle. Okay, that thing comes out quite easily. That's sold for $25. And we're going to type that in. So let's just go off of this little list that I have here. And let's build it out and price it out and see where we land. So we're going to go back to our original page with our availables. And we have Dyson DC33. We're going to look at our spreadsheet. And we're going to take the name of that part. And we're going to copy it and tag it behind that. And paste. And press enter. We got the clear U-bend. We can see there's 117 available. Let's copy that into our sold tab, and 29 have sold. And let's switch that to highest. So we could see these clear U-bends go for about $20, 15 to $20. So we're gonna type in $20 under the value right there. Now we're gonna go back. 65 used sole plates, 37 have sold, and we're kind of like looking at these prices. Some of them have free shipping, some of them have the brush bar, but we're going to call this one about $25. Let's call it 25 because there's really not that many that are below that. And you're basically going to go through your entire list and price it out just like I'm showing you right here. Now, something else to keep in mind as you are pricing these, if you notice, I am clicking under the used condition. I'm not just looking at the new. Okay, so that'll also help weed out the things that are aftermarket products or aftermarket parts, things that are not genuine to Dyson. And the reason I also do that, because number one, I'm selling used parts. But number two, some people only want the genuine, original, manufactured part that actually came off that vacuum. They do not want some 3D printed part. And people are willing to pay extra sometimes for the genuine part. So let's keep going. Going back to the search, there is also another note I want to make. When you are searching, make sure that you are looking under the whole or all categories here and not just under the parts, vacuum cleaner parts, because sometimes when you are searching, it will automatically go there, but not everybody lists under that category. They'll just list under vacuum cleaners, for example, and you're not going to see everything that's available. So just make sure you're looking under all categories in case someone put it in the wrong category. So this is just a very, very quick way of how to price. I have a whole other video about how I price that goes into more details. This is just very, very brief. So if you're interested in more of how I price and my pricing strategy, I'm going to link that video down below for you. So again, this is just an example, and this is going to show you the value of the 7 parts that I have selected to show you in this video. So let's look at that sum. So I've priced out these 7 parts, and we're going to tally up these totals right here. You can see I've got the clear U-bend all the way down to the wand. On Google Sheets, you're going to type in equal, sum, and then you can highlight, and then parentheses. So that's $230 just for these 7 parts. $230, which supersedes the $200 of the vacuum being sold as is, you know, as its whole piece. So already we can see we're going to get 30 more bucks by parting it out if we can get these 7 parts off of this. Also, I guarantee you there's way more parts on this, and I'm going to show you another way to find out the names of those. Okay, in Google, we're going to type in that we're looking for the Dyson DC33 parts, and Dyson is really good about putting the names of their parts on their website. Okay, so we could see they've got combination tools, stair tools, all sorts of tools, and you'll see that these say currently out of stock. Well, that's great news for us because we want them to be out of stock, because that means we got a good item here. They can't go to Dyson and go get it. They're going to have to come get it from us. But you can see that it's got the names of these tools and the part numbers. Those could be great pieces of information to have when we're building our listing later. These are all the attachments. And then look, all these other spare parts. We got brush bar, which you can currently get a brush bar, so maybe we're not going to either sell that or we're going to sell it for a cheaper price. Bin. This bin is out of stock. These are more ideas for things that we can sell. There's that wand. There's that soap plate. Again, all these things are out of stock. That's great for us. Now let's go back to Google. And so this eVacuum store website also has parts, so we can see what they have. And something else I like about this eVacuum store is they have a schematic of the Dyson vacuums. So as you're taking things apart and you don't know what it's called, well, guess what? They've got the answers right here. And again, you can see more parts. The switch cover assembly, the power cord. Did you think that you could sell the power cord? Well, you can. They're asking $40 on here, but you know, maybe it's worth more on eBay. I don't know. We could take a look. And then going back to Google, let's see what else we can find. Oh, here's a great schematic. Look at this. Different parts to the Dyson vacuum. And as you're taking that vacuum apart, look to see how much these things are worth. Okay? Look at all these things. Valve pipe assembly, switch cover assembly, exhaust seal. Believe it or not, these seals, sometimes they can be worth quite a bit. Again, if they're not made anymore and you need it, and you're willing to pay for it. Okay, now let's say that you maybe can't find a schematic. It's not as well researched as maybe a Dyson. Here's something else you could do. You can look up the manual. Almost every manual is available for free online. And then we can find out the name of that part and possibly a part number. Not always, but we can at least find the name of a part. So like on this one, I just typed in Dyson DC33 manual. I love this website, Manuals Lib, because they have tons of different manuals on here. But again, you can just scroll through and see what you need to find out. And another reason I like the manuals is because if you need to know if something can be washed or not, definitely defer to the manual. A lot of vacuums and other things have motors in them, and they don't want you to get them wet, okay? They're like little gremlins. You get them wet, you've kind of ruined them. That can be like in power heads and cyclones. You don't know. I always read the manual to find out if I can soak something. You really do not want to ruin the item you're trying to sell by washing it incorrectly. You're going to find a lot of parts inside your item. And if you're looking and you can see that, let's say the cap on it is only worth $5 and none have sold in the last 90 days and there's 100 available, don't even worry about trying to find that part, harvest that part, nothing. It's kind of like we're not even worried about it. It's a lost boy. We're not even worried about it, kind of. Now, sometimes what I will do is at the end of parting something out, if I've got like a pile of things and I don't want to just throw it away, sometimes, yeah, I will list it as just like spare parts. And I'm not going to take the time to ID everything. I'll just slap a price on it, say, here's some spare parts from this. Merry Christmas, basically. And some people do buy those, especially if they are people that repair things and they have a repair shop. They might just be interested in a whole kit and caboodle junk drawer of parts. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and work on building our listing. When you're building the title of your listing, you want to make sure that you include all the important ingredients. That's the brand, the model number, the name of that part, the item number of that part if you have it. So some model numbers also have a letter at the end of it, which is used to signify the color. So sometimes it might be like 123 SS, that stands for stainless steel, or it might be 123 W, which stands for white. In that case, I'll do the model number with and without the letter. So I might do 123 W and then 123 white, and that way they know. And then if somebody is just typing in model number 123, it will still come up, because it may not always come up if I've typed in 123W. Does that make sense? So let's start off with the Dyson DC33 dust cup. So I'm going to start off with that, and I was able to get the part number from the Dyson website. And you can see I've got a lot of extra space here, but let's just start off with this for a second. We're going to continue without match. I'm going to do this used. Then let's scroll down here. Now this one automatically did generate into the parts category, but this is not going to always happen, but make sure that you are putting things in the correct category. So we got this under vacuum cleaner parts. And there's other parts categories too. So there's like washer and dryer parts, refrigerator and freezer parts. There's also one for small appliances. Let me show you where that one is. Small kitchen appliances. We go to home and garden, kitchen and dining and bar, small kitchen appliances. Then you're going to scroll all the way down to small kitchen appliance parts or accessories, depending on what you got. And then you would list it in that category. Okay. But let's finish up the one we got. We've got our brand. We've got our model number. I'm going to type in vacuum cleaner, dust cup. And then some people might call it a bin. We've got the part number. It's clear. Then I'm going to add part, genuine. Then we're going to do OEM, original equipment manufacturer. So you're going to build out your title. Do this kind of however you want, but the way I like to do it is I like to put in the brand name, the model number, what it is for. Like some people might type in Dyson DC33 vacuum cleaner, and then they're going to type in the part name. And then if there's like a different word that can be used for that, I'll also add that. Like this one, I have typed in dust cup, but then also bin, because some people might call it a bin, or some people might call it a dirt bin. So we might want to use that word instead, actually. So I might want to type in dirt instead. I've got the model number of the part. It's clear. I wrote the name part, genuine, and OEM. So they know this is actually from Dyson and not some third party. We've got it under vacuum cleaner parts. Then you're going to go through and fill out all of these drop down boxes. So this is for Dyson. Compatible model is Dyson DC33. The type is dust cup. And sometimes there's going to be multiple things that it could be called. Like it could be called a canister. Okay, do your best guess. Dust cup. Clear. And then again, type in the name. Dyson DC33. Go back up to this title. We're going to copy it. And we're going to paste it into our description. Okay, and then I have a template for parts. So I'm just going to go to parts shown, click insert, and then you can see I've got this text that's going to automatically populate. It says includes parts shown only. Some scuffs, scratches, paint wear, marks, rust, patina wear is shown. You could take out, or what I'll do is I'll take out whatever doesn't pertain, like there may not be rust or patina. I'm going to delete that out. And then it says pull directly from model. So I'm going to copy where it says Dyson DC33, paste it here. And then I wrote, please check your item for fitment as I do not accept returns. See pics. Then you're just going to enter your price and go on your merry way. Now let's just pretend that we've completely listed that item and we're going to list the rest of the parts that go with it. You're just going to click sell similar. So now everything's going to repopulate from the one that you just listed. So just kind of clear out the fat, the things that you don't need. So we're going to still keep in the beginning of the title, but we're going to delete out this middle part here. And then we're going to type into the next thing. Let's say we've got the wand. We're going to type in wand assembly. Maybe it's gray. And then we'll find the part number and we would insert it right there. And then just go down and just change the things that you need to. Okay, this just makes it really easy. And now down here, where you get in the description, you may not have to change anything. This description, all you're going to do is copy and paste your new title into here, but everything else is going to remain the same. And then you're just going to keep rolling with it. You're going to list that one, click sell similar, list the next item. And then you can get rolling pretty quickly like that. So if you're listing something that you cannot test and it needs to work, let's say the motor on the vacuum, and we just do not know if it works, you need to be absolutely sure that you are writing in there for parts or repair only, selling as is, something to that nature, and then write that you do not know if this engine or motor works and that it may or may not work. Just be absolutely fabulously clear on something like that, because the customer doesn't want to get a motor and they think they're going to replace their vacuum motor and they spend all that time and energy and replace it and then it doesn't work and then they're upset with you. But you absolutely still can sell, let's say, a motor or a motor head that is broken. Some people will repair them, but just make absolutely certain you are noting that, you're listing it for parts are not working, and instead of the used, it's parts are not working. So the buyer does know exactly what they're getting. So here's some keyword ideas for you are replacement, genuine, OEM, piece, part. Add the color if it's important. For example, again, on the Dyson vacuums, some of them are, like the one I have is yellow. Some of them are purple. Shark vacuums, same thing. Is it a purple one or is it a white one? The Cuisinart, some old Cuisinart parts are amber color, but the more current ones are clear. If you've got that space, make sure you're putting in the color because that is important for a lot of people. Something else I like to do is if I can show it working, show it working. So if you've got a blender motor base, turn it on, take a video, show the customer that it works because that is going to increase buyer confidence and they might be more likely to pick yours because they can see it's working. They're not just taking somebody's word for it. So now that we're done listing our item, you've got all your parts everywhere. We want to make sure that you know what those parts are later on. So at the very beginning, if you've only got like a handful of parts, you're going to know what things are. Like you're going to be able to know that that item came from that Dyson vacuum. But as you kind of get more into it and you start accumulating things, things are going to start looking alike and you're going to forget what they are. So if I've only got a handful of things that came from an item, I'm just going to write a little post-it. Dyson vacuum, clear bin, and then just tape it on there. Be done with it. But some things like this Dyson vac, I've actually have a lot of things that go for it. This is one that I used for a Roomba the other day. But I just printed out on my label maker what it was. Roomba 650. And then smacked that little sticker onto the item. That way I knew that that spin brush or that faceplate or whatever came from Roomba model 650. So when do you want to part it out? So when it's too big or bulky to ship safely, or you're not confident in your shipping abilities, let's go ahead and part it out. Number 2, it's kind of gross to sell whole. Coffee makers. To me, I will not sell a coffee maker unless I'm taking it apart and selling it for parts. Coffee makers are so nasty, typically. I'm not going to give somebody else's filth and sell it on eBay. That's just nasty. If the item that you have is missing parts already and it's going to cost you too much to acquire that part, go ahead and part out what you've got. Go ahead and make your money that way. And obviously, if it's worth more to part it out, just part it out. And if in doubt, part it out. Just part it out. If you're not sure, you don't know if it works, part it out. It's going to be so much easier to ship little pieces and parts than a big old item. So open up your mind to things that you can part out. Almost anything can be parted out. I've parted out toys, electronics, anything that has parts. I always take a look to see, is it worth selling this thing as a whole unit or as parts? Yeah, sometimes you'd be shocked. Smallest little accessory can be worth more than the whole action figure because people just want that little thing that got sucked up by the vacuum. And that's it. Power tool batteries. You may not think that they would sell if they are broken or they don't charge anymore, but yeah, I've sold them before. I have no idea what people are doing with them, nor do I care because it's money in my pocket. Might as well, as long as it's not anything illegal, I really don't care. So you're probably also thinking, doesn't it take longer to part things out than it does just to sell the whole thing whole? Well, yeah, a lot of times it does. But the whole purpose of reselling is to make money. Now, you just saw that I can pull off 7 parts off of my Dyson vacuum and make more that way. To me, that's worth my time to take this apart to get more money. Also, I believe it's easier to make money off of what you already have versus going out and finding more things later. Like, I'm willing to bet if I took this Dyson vacuum all the way apart, it's probably got at least $300 worth of parts on it. So that's an extra $100 above what the whole thing is worth together. Now, if I needed to go make an extra $100, I'd have to go back to the thrift store and I'd have to look for probably 4 to 5 more things to sell. And we're kind of back to where we are. It's just easier for me to part out what I've got than to go spend my time in the thrift store. So you're probably also wondering, what do I do when I'm outsourcing and I want to know, is it worth buying something to part out? Basically the same kind of thing, but I'm going to quickly just go through it. So let's say we're looking for a Ninja blender. I'm going to quickly look to see, is the pitcher, how much is the pitcher worth? How much is the cap worth? Okay, well, this thing is only $5 and looks like I can get $40 for the pitcher. Sold. We'll figure the rest out later when I get home. We don't have to figure out prices out in the field. We just need to know, is this worth buying to sell? Okay, yes, let's go. So that's all for today's video. I hope it was helpful. If it was, please give me a great big thumbs up. If you're not already, please subscribe to my channel for more useful reselling tips. And leave me a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.